What's up guys, it's Kelly and today I've got another swatch review for you. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos, and let's get started. So today I am sharing with you two new collections from Essie for spring 2021. We've got their regular line and then I'm also trying out their Expressie line. I've never used it before and I have a lot of thoughts on it. Before we get too much into it, just so you guys know an overview of the brand, Essie is a mainstream salon brand that is vegan and they are also 8 free, meaning they are free of 8 of the dangerous chemicals that are often found in nail polish. They have somewhat recently changed their brush from a round skinny brush to a wide flat brush that has a rounded free edge, which I personally love. So I was actually really looking forward to trying these. So we've got 6 brand new nail polishes, part of the regular line, that are inspired by a tranquil desert spa. And I have to say, it's a pretty unique color story here. So let me show you guys those swatches first. So roll footage number 1. So as with all of my swatch reviews, I am going to be using base coat underneath all of my swatches just to protect my natural nail and prevent any stains. Today it's the Orly Bonjour base coat. So first up in the regular spring collection line, we have the shade Get Oasis, which I didn't get that one until I said it out loud, but now I get it. Very cute. This one is a really beautiful neutral beige cream base that actually has a really nice subtle duochrome pink to gold shimmer running throughout. So it's really hard to see that shimmer, but in some lights you can kind of catch it. It really just adds a little bit of extra sparkle there. I thought in 2 coats it was mostly opaque, but I still had just the tiniest bit of patchiness near the cuticle, so I ended up doing a 3rd coat and I thought it looked great in those 3 coats. Generally I don't love 3 coaters, but with later shades sometimes it is inevitable, so I'm not too surprised about it. Next up we have the shade Retreat Yourself, and this one is a really beautiful base. I'm not 100% sure how to describe it. It's almost like this blush pinky shade that has a lot of warmth to it, a little bit of dustiness, and then again we have that really nice shimmer running throughout. And because it's in a deeper base color, you can see a lot more of that shimmer, especially when it hits the light, and it's like that really nice warm orangey gold shimmer running throughout. This one was perfect in 2 coats. This one actually ended up being my favorite of the collection. I just thought it was so gorgeous and it just feels like a really nice any time of the year shade. Next up we have the shade Light as Linen. This is the 3rd and final shade that has this really nice duochromy pinky orangey gold shimmer running throughout, and this one happens to be in a really nice soft super light brown base color, and this one was actually really pretty. It kind of feels like one of those Your Naked Nails but better, because it's kind of a nude skin tone color there, and I thought this one looked really great in 2 coats. It's a very soft subtle type of shade, little teensy tiny bit of streakiness to it, but if you're just careful with that 2nd coat you won't have to worry about it being too streaky on the nails. Next up we have the shade You Know the Espadrille, and this one is a really beautiful mustard yellow cream shade. Now I love yellow nail polishes. I especially love when they're this sort of mustardy golden kind of yellow. They just bring me so much joy. I typically associate mustardy kind of colors with fall, to be honest. A lot of the shades in here I feel lean a little bit more fall than they do spring, but obviously yellow on its own really is a bright springy summery color, so totally on board with this. And again, I felt like it was pretty much opaque in 2 coats, but I thought a 3rd coat would really just fully bring that out a little bit more, so I ended up doing a 3rd coat. To be honest, with this shade I would probably just wear it as a 2-coater and then maybe do a 3rd coat on my thumbs, just because they are bigger and they usually require a little bit extra polish. But I feel like in general I could get away with 2 coats of this, which is pretty impressive because I feel like most yellow polishes are 3-coaters, but yeah, I ended up doing 3 coats anyway just to show you guys what that looked like. Next up we have the shade Cacti on the Prize, and this is a really beautiful soft green pastel color. It actually has a nice bit of warmth to it, almost like a little bit of an olivey undertone, and I totally love that. I thought it matched my skin undertones perfectly because I have a little bit of a yellowy undertone, and I feel like that just worked so well with me. The formula on this was absolutely incredible. It was 2 coats for full coverage, which I thought was really impressive, especially because it's such a light shade. It was just really easy and smooth and self-leveling. Honestly, all of these were self-leveling, which was really nice. And last but not least, we have the shade Infinity Cool, and this one is a really beautiful navy blue cream shade. It was pretty much a 1-coater on me. I ended up doing a 2nd coat just to show you guys what that looked like, but I feel like I could probably just wear this one as a 1-coater. Because it is so opaque, I feel like it'll be really good for nail art or for stamping, and I just really love it overall. Navy blue is one of of my absolute favorite colors to wear on my nail. It's actually my favorite color in life. But yeah, I don't know. I find it really interesting that navy blue seems to be so on trend for spring, even though for me, again, this just feels like such a fall color. So here are all of these shades together. Honestly, if you showed me this little chart of the polishes, I would assume that this was a fall collection. I absolutely dig it. Fall is my favorite time of year for nail polishes. I love all of these colors. I think they all look super great, but it definitely feels to me like it's leaning a little bit fall, which again, I don't mind. I love fall. I know most of you guys don't actually wear your nail polish seasonally, and I might be the minority here in that, but yeah, it's definitely interesting. I will say, I think individually some of these shades on their own can be more of a springy vibe, but yeah, definitely together I'm getting strong fall vibes. Am I the only one who feels this way? Do you guys think that too? So yeah, those are the polishes, and I gotta say, I mean, they look pretty fall inspired to me, not necessarily spring, but because they're fall and fall is my favorite season for nail polish, obviously I really enjoyed these. I thought they were really good. I've definitely noticed a lot of navy blue as a trend for spring 2021, which I'm very much into, but I feel like paired with these other colors that I usually associate with fall, it just feels very fall to me. That being said, all of the colors are really good, and I mean, I could wear fall colors any time of year. If they wanted to make spring colors into fall colors, I would be totally on board with that. So these polishes come in 13.5 milliliter bottles. The price varies based on where you get them from. I saw at Ulta they're available for $9 USD each, so I'll link that down below if you guys are interested. But yeah, let's move on to this Expressie line. This is a line of nail polishes that is relatively new. I had not tried it before, and I didn't really know what it was about, except for that these are quicker drying nail polishes. Now, having swatched them, I can tell you that they all come with an angled brush, which is apparently an intentional thing, but I gotta tell you, I did not know that when I was swatching these, and I was like, the first one I opened up, I was like, oh my gosh, this one has a wonky brush, and then I opened up the second one, and I was like, man, this one has a wonky brush too. And it was actually not until I had swatched all of them, and I showed Ryan, and I was like, check this out, they got a wonky brush on every single bottle, and he was like, is it not intentional? And then I googled it, and it was apparently intentional. But yeah, so it took me 9 polishes to figure that out. But aside from that, let's talk about the actual collection. This one is Y2K inspired, and it's called Dial It Up. This is much more classically spring shades with a little bit of that like early 2000s feel. So yeah, let me show you guys those swatches. So roll footage number 2. So we're gonna start off with the 2 sheer shades that are in this collection. The first of which is called Mall Crawler, and this one is a really soft sheer pink shade that has a little bit of a cool undertone to it. So you can tell at first I really didn't know what was going on with these brushes, so I'm kind of not really applying it in the smoothest way, but this polish is actually gorgeous. I love transparent, translucent shades like this. I think this looks absolutely stunning. This is a perfect base for a French manicure. It's like the perfect just like little brightener for your nails. I absolutely love it. 1 coat I loved it, and 2 coats I love it even more. Next up we have the shade Skip the Track. This is the other translucent shade in the collection, and this one is more of like a dusty periwinkle color. This one's actually a little bit more opaque than the pink one. So in 1 coat it gives that sort of sheer wash of color. On the 2nd coat you can still see a little bit of visible nail line, but it's definitely a more opaque shade. I think doing it in 1 coat and doing it in 2 coats can be like 2 totally separate vibes, but honestly I love them both. Again, I just love sheer shades like this. I think they look so beautiful on the nails. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but it certainly is mine. Next up we have the shade Dial It Up, and this is another periwinkle kind of shade here. This one is in more of a metallic foiled finish, and as soon as I put on that first swipe of polish, I immediately fell in love with this color. It's basically 1 coat opacity. It was just a tiny bit sheer because the brush was a little bit stiffer, and it left like a little bit of streakiness on the first coat, but on the 2nd coat I got perfect opacity. It's such a gorgeous color. I love shades like this, and again, I just feel like this is a really good nail art or stamping color. It's just so bright and beautiful, and it's just really opaque. Next up we have another metallic foily shade. This one is called What the Tech, and it is a really deep dark gunmetal gray silver metallic shade, and again we just have that incredible opacity. We have a really nice formula here. It's very easy to work with. The only thing I didn't love was the brush, and that was only because I thought it was just a wonky brush. Now knowing a little bit better, I might like it, but I kind of wish that this was just a normal brush because this color is gorgeous. Again, I think I'm going to be using this one a lot for nail art because it's just so opaque. It's such a beautiful shade, and this is the sort of non-stamping polish that I like to use for stamping. Next up we have the shade Up Up NOA Message, and this is a really nice, slightly dusty turquoisey blue cream shade, and this one was such impressive opacity. There was a tiny bit of sheerness in some spots, so I ended up doing that second coat, but I was just really impressed with the formula on this. One thing to keep in mind, these polishes do dry quicker than the regular Essie line, so you want to work quickly so that it doesn't kind of like lump up. It's not as self-leveling. Next up we have the shade In the Modem, and this one is kind of somewhere between a gray and a taupe cream shade. It's a really beautiful base color, and this is the type of color that I love to use as a base for nail art, where I feel white base would be a little bit too stark, but I wasn't a huge fan of the formula in this one. I thought it was going to be 2-coat coverage, which would have been ideal for me, but it ended up requiring a 3rd coat. Now that's totally fine, but I wouldn't want to do nail art over a 3-coater just because I feel like at that point I would have so much polish on my nails. But on its own, it's a really pretty color. I don't always love 3-coaters, and I thought that, you know, their formula was a little bit better than that, so just slightly disappointed in this one, but it's a really pretty color. Next up we have the shade Millennium Momentum, and this is a neutral beige nude cream shade, and this was another one. The color of this one is absolutely perfect. I thought it matched my skin tone really well, and it was so gorgeous. A little bit sheer on the first coat. I thought I would get that full coverage in the second coat here, but I did find that it was still a touch patchy and not opaque enough in the 2 coats, so I ended up putting on a 3rd coat, and again I found that to be just a little bit disappointing. I know there are a lot of really great nude and neutral shades that I can get full opacity in 2 coats for, so not sure I recommend this one. I feel like it's just a little too many coats, especially for the price of the polish, so this one's not really for me, even though the color is really nice. Next up we have the shade Shook, and this is a classic yellow cream shade. It has the slightest bit of dustiness to it, so just like a touch of desaturation to the color, but overall beautiful, bright, summery fun. Again, this one was a 3-coater, and I do think that my opinion of this one is a little bit different than the other 3-coaters I encountered in the collection, just because, like I said, and I've said it before, yellow nail polish tends to be so sheer that most of my favorite yellow nail polishes are 3 coats anyway, so I'm pretty much used to that. I don't mind it at all because I know even the more expensive, higher quality brands do have 3-coat yellows, so I'm totally fine with this. And then finally we have the shade We Don't Mesh, and this one, oh my gosh, in the bottle I fell in love with this color. I know this is another one that I know not everybody is gonna like. It's like a chartreusey greenish yellow shade that has a silver shimmer running throughout, and oh my gosh, I was like, this is gonna be my summer color, this is it. But again, I just faced a little bit too much sheerness here. There was a little bit of brush strokiness, which I don't mind at all. I kind of like that pearlized finish, but even after 3 coats I felt like you could still see through to my bare nail, and I was just so disappointed in that. I didn't even end up doing a 4th coat because, I mean, after 3 coats you're kind of just asking for way too much, and when you're talking about a bottle of polish that costs around $9, I just feel like it's not worth it to do 4 coats. So here are all of the polishes together, and I will say this collection does feel a lot more classically spring than the other, so it's nice that we actually have 2 different options here, kind of just based on what colors you are into for the season, or if you just want to wear them anyway. I will say overall I definitely prefer the regular Essie formula. I feel like they've improved the regular formula a lot, and the Expressie line just doesn't have that for me. It felt a little inconsistent. I really liked the first 2 rows of polishes, except for maybe that lighter grayish blue shade, but the bottom row of polishes mostly disappointed me. It just felt a little too inconsistent. Like some of these being 3-coaters or even a 4-coater is just a little bit too much for me, so I'm probably going to stick to wearing the regular line of polishes a little bit more. That being said, I thought their foil polishes and their transparent polishes were incredible. So yeah, overall an interesting experience. They do definitely dry super fast, which is good and bad. I mean, just kind of depending on the situation. I am personally personally not a huge fan of the angled brushes. Now that might be because I didn't realize that it was intentional, and so I wasn't really applying it with the intent of like doing it at the correct angle. But I gotta say, it didn't say anywhere on the bottle, and I feel like if I were just a random customer going and picking up a bottle, I would be super upset to just randomly find that brush in my bottle without any explanation. So I feel like it would definitely benefit Essie to maybe make that messaging a little bit more clear, but maybe that's just me. I don't know. Have I been living under a rock? So yeah, an interesting vibe here. I like the colors. I'm intrigued by the polishes, but I will say overall, I think I enjoyed the classic spring line better than the Expressie polishes. So these polishes come in 10 milliliter bottles, and they're like the longer, skinnier bottles. Again, with that angled brush, so just keep that in mind. And they also differ based on where you get them. I saw at Ulta, these were also $9 USD. So again, I'll just link that down below for you guys so you can check that out. But yeah, I'm curious to hear what you guys think of these. Are you interested in the Expressie line? Is this something that you would like to see me review more of now with the knowledge that the brushes are actually angled? Do you like the angled brushes? Have you ever tried them before? Would you be into them? Let me know in the comments. We can chat about it. And also, what do you think of this very fall-ish spring collection from their regular line? Because I'm curious to hear if you guys are enjoying it as much as me. But yeah, leave it all down below. If you enjoyed this swatch review or me in general, please give this video a thumbs up. It lets me know I'm doing a good job. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. I put out new videos every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday. Huge shout out to my Cosmic Admirals on Patreon, Amanda M, Braxton Scott, and Rainbow J. I really appreciate your support. If you guys can't get enough of me 3 times a week, you can also find me 3 times a week on Twitch, where I play video games, so I'll link that in the description. And I also do a nail art live stream once a week on Amazon, so I can link that down below as well if anybody is interested in checking that out. I am all over the place, and I am just constantly online. So yeah, come hang out with me, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. Today's fun fact question comes from Patreon supporter Ivrea, and Ivrea wants to know, what is your favorite beverage? So I'm gonna be the most boring person ever, and I'm just gonna say water. I know that's awful, but honestly, like 6 out of 7 days of the week, the only thing that I drink is water. That's literally the only beverage that I have consistently. And like every once in a while, I would say pre-2020, I had decaf coffee like once or twice a week, which I would go to Dunkin' for, which I haven't really been doing that much lately. Yeah, I guess that's kind of it. I don't really drink anything else. We don't even have any other beverages in the apartment besides like, do we? Yeah, we just have coffee and water, and I think that's it. I don't really drink juice or anything either. I'm so boring. All right, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.